Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to paint fire. I'm going to be showing you this on my Crimson Fist Gravis Captain. For the base coating I just started with a black primer over the Captain. However, depending on whatever you're painting, you can obviously prime it whatever colour you want. That being said, I'm starting with a white base coat. Now going over black, this may take you several layers. However, I'm just going up to a nice solid white layer on all the flames. Next up, if you've watched any of my previous tutorials, you'll know that I absolutely love using fluorescent paint, and working with flames, it's absolutely no different. I'm always going to use fluorescent paint. I'm always going to try use it wherever I can. I'm just layering over the white with some fluorescent yellow. Now this fluorescent yellow isn't pure yellow, it's sort of greeny yellowy mix. To get rid of that greeny yellowy mix, we're going to be doing some extra mixes and building up from here. However, this is going to be our base brightness. Okay, next up we're going to be using a mixture of fluorescent orange and fluorescent yellow, and it's going to be a 50-50 mix. Now this might take several layers, so just be patient and just build up slowly. I'm starting from about a quarter of the way up, and all I'm doing is just slowly building up the layers and making sure I get a nice solid layer. Working with fluorescent paints, I found like it can be quite hard to build up layers with just pure fluorescent paints, so if you wanted to add some other colour like acrylics in, this could be such as Fire Dragon Bright, Uriel Yellow, Phalanx Yellow. I actually can't think of any other oranges or yellows, but you know what I mean. If you want to add some of those in, just put like a small drop in, and then that should help build up the opacity of it while still keeping some of the vibrancy. Next layer is going to be pure fluorescent orange, and this is going to be within the previous layer, and I'm going to be covering about 80% of what the previous layer was. I'm just doing some basic layering over the top. Next up is the mixture of orange and red fluorescent paints. We're going to be layering over 80% of the previous mix. With this mixture, all I'm doing is targeting the higher portions of the flame, all the outsides, and I'm going to be trying to leave all the brightest colours within the deepest recesses and the inner parts of the flame on the lower half of the flame. Again, you just want to be building up the layers slowly. Fluorescent paints don't have the best opacity, and you'll need to do several layers. Next up, I'm just using pure fluorescent red, and I'm going to be doing like the top, say 20% of the flame. Again, if your fluorescent paint isn't the brightest or the best opacity, you can put in some other reds to bolster the opacity a bit and make it a bit more solid, or you can just slowly build up the layers again, which is what I done. Next up, I'm using a whole red. You can use sort of any darker red that you want for this, and all I'm doing with this is painting the very tips. I've made sure to thin down the paint quite a bit, and then even if it is a bit on the thicker side, I then come in with some water and thin down and blend into the previous layer. And this is what's going to give the contrast between the brightest and the darkest points of the flame. On this next step, I'm just coming in with some very heavily watered down white. For this, if you find it easier, you can use oils or you can use inks as well. But all we're going to be doing with this is going at the very bottom quarter of the flame, and we're going to be making sure that we're getting it into all the recesses. So this is the last mixture, and it is Phalanx Yellow and Fluorescent Yellow. I decided to add a bit more Phalanx in there, and I didn't heavily water this down, so it's still nice and bright over the previous white paint. And all I'm doing with this is just going up about halfway up, meeting where the yellow and orange mixture is, and basically just trying to blend that in a bit. For the last step, I'm just taking some heavily watered down white, and on the bottom, probably like 15% of the model, I am just putting in all the recesses. You don't need to go too crazy with this, as white as a paint on OSL doesn't look great, and I would say avoid using any white paint for the finishing. However, you can, because it does make it super bright. It just, when you look at it, it just doesn't sit right, and that is how I paint flames. I'm going to be doing the whole OSL in a different video. But thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a short one today. However, moving forwards, I am going to be trying to release 2 videos a week. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.